in the mist-shrouded streets of early 17th century Paris, along the narrow Rue Saint-Jacques, where the city's outcasts eked out their existence. The Sanson family's remarkable journey into France's most feared and reviled profession began not through ambition. These same streets would, decades later, inspire Victor Hugo to pen his dark tales, finding the grim essence of human suffering woven into the city itself. The word executioner stood alone as a fearsome title, encapsulating an entire system of terror and control. The story begins in 1675, when Charles Sanson, a young nobleman from Abbeville in Picardy, after his father's involvement in a political scandal supporting the Fronde rebellion against the young King Louis XIV, with his family's fortunes in ruins, Charles faced impossible choices. Love complicated matters further when he fell for Marguerite Jean, the daughter of Rougang's executioner. Their courtship took place in secret near the Saint-Jean Abbey, where marrying into an executioner's family meant automatically inheriting the professional role that marked not just the individual, but generations to come. As contemporary chronicler Jean-Baptiste's son Victor wrote, "To touch the executioner was to become the executioner." In pre-revolutionary France, the role of the executioner existed in a peculiar social limbo. While it offered financial security through a regular salary and fees for executions ranging from 5 livres for a simple hanging to 30 for breaking on the wheel, it carried a crushing social burden. Executioners were forbidden from living within city walls, required to wear distinctive clothing marking their profession, barred from taverns and markets, and forced to endure public scorn. In 1696, Charles Sanson's wife was pelted with rotten vegetables while attempting to buy bread, prompting a royal decree to protect executioners' families from harassment. Despite these hardships, Charles's acceptance of the role marked the beginning of what would become France's most notorious executioner dynasty. By 1688, he had secured the prestigious position of Paris's executioner, following the retirement of Nicolas Lasser, whose family had held the post for 3 generations. The Sanson rise to prominence coincided with significant changes in French justice under Louis XIV, as public executions became increasingly choreographed spectacles of state power. In 1721, Charles Jean-Baptiste Sanson executed the notorious poisoner Lizan at the Place de Grève, drawing over 30,000 spectators. Charles Jean-Baptiste, who inherited the position in 1726, introduced more humane execution methods, insisting on quick, clean deaths when possible, radical consideration for the time. He even practiced on sheep, refining techniques that led to the development of the Parisian drop method of hanging, which caused near-instant death by breaking the condemned's neck. Beyond executions, the Sansons maintained secret connections with Paris's elite. Renowned surgeon Georges Marshall occasionally sought their expertise in anatomy, as the family's grim work made them unofficial consultants to medical students at the nearby Faculty of Medicine. Their private library, inventoried in 1737, contained 54 medical texts alongside execution manuals and philosophical works, including rare anatomical studies. They even hosted clandestine anatomy lessons in their cellar under the cover of darkness. The social stigma of their profession manifested in complex ways. Charles-Henri Sanson, the most famous family member, enrolled at the Collège de France in 1753 under the alias Charles-Henri Longuevel to hide his identity. When recognized by a fellow student as an executioner's son, he was expelled not for his lineage, but for deceiving the school about it. The headmaster reportedly told him, "Your father kills legally, but you have murdered truth." the Sansons developed coping mechanisms, including cultivating extensive gardens for self-sufficiency and medicinal herbs, forming their own parallel society with other executioner families, and marrying strategically within their profession. Their duties extended far beyond hangings and beheadings. Charles Sanson was called upon in 1692 to examine suspected plague victims, and the family oversaw all forms of corporal punishment. From branding with the fleur-de-lis to breaking on the wheel, a gruesome process requiring anatomical expertise. By the mid-18th century, the Sansons had transformed execution from a despised necessity into a quasi-professional office. Charles-Henri Sanson maintained detailed journals recording over 9,000 executions in Paris alone, with notations on condemned behavior, technique, and efficiency. Their expertise made them authorities in the field of mechanical execution. With the advent of the guillotine, the Sansons meticulously prepared their instruments, testing blades on straw, sheep, and calves to ensure precision. Charles Henry's diaries reveal their exacting standards. Blade angles, drop speeds, and lubrication mixtures were measured to the millimeter. Their preparations became crucial during the French Revolution, when, between June 10 and July 27, 1794, the period known as the Great Terror, they executed dozens per day. They developed rotating blades, trained a team of assistants, and coordinated the disposal of thousands of bodies with military precision. The most historically significant executions included King Louis XVI on January 21, 1793, and Marie Antoinette on October 16, 1793. Charles-Henri Sanson approached these tasks with methodical precision, ensuring dignity and swiftness even under intense public scrutiny. During the Terror, the Sansons performed up to 300 executions per month, maintaining multiple guillotines and overseeing complex logistical operations. Their professional rigor, combined with their understanding of anatomy and mechanics, elevated the family to a paradoxical status, both reviled and respected, feared and indispensable. The family's decline began in the 19th century as technological innovations, bureaucratization, and changing societal attitudes toward capital punishment diminished the need for hereditary executioners. Henry Clement Sanson, Charles Henry's grandson, squandered family wealth, sold heirlooms, and struggled to adapt to the new professional standards. By the mid-19th century, the family lost both its social standing and its hereditary monopoly on execution. The modernization of the French penal system, coupled with declining public interest in ceremonial executions, marked the end of their storied dynasty. The Sansons' legacy, however, endured. Their meticulous records, anatomical studies, and carefully preserved instruments became historical artifacts, now housed in museums across Europe. They transformed execution from a brutal necessity into a disciplined, almost scientific profession, balancing ceremony, precision, and grim professionalism. 6 generations of Sansons executed over 3,000 people, including a king, a queen, and countless revolutionaries, leaving behind a haunting narrative that captured the paradoxical intersection of duty, morality, and mortality. As Honoré de Balzac once observed, the Sansons were not mere executioners. They were the high priests of a terrible ceremony, passing down their dark sacrament from father to son. Their story serves as a chilling reminder that even in death, there was once ceremony, precision, and a family committed to doing their grim work with an almost philosophical rigor.